Hello all, I'm really excited to be here with the lovely Marsha Diane Arnold, who has written many children's picture books on all sorts of topics. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Marsha, one of the things I'm interested in is how you weave deeper themes into your stories. For example, in Prancing Dancing Lily, on the surface it's about a goofy cow who dances to the beat of her own drum. But when you dig a little deeper, it's about finding one's place, experimenting and exploring, and the importance of community and taking on responsibility. Can you speak a little about your writing process from beginning to end and show some examples of other books where you do this?
It's delightful to be here with you, first of all, Mira. And those are a lot of questions. If I get distracted, let me know. Lily is rather goofy, isn't she? And that is probably why a lot of my readers choose her as their favorite Marsha Diane Arnold character. And some people think I'm goofy too, but the truth is that I am quite serious-minded. So messages, and may I emphasize subtle messages and deeper themes are important to me. And I really believe that the words and the images that enter young children's minds affect them and stay with them sometimes for their whole lives. I would be really happy if people thought about my books as that good deed in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Do you remember the Gene Wilder version? Not the Johnny Depp version, please. When Charlie returns the gobstopper and to Wonka, and Wonka says, "So shines a good deed in a weary world." And I want people to say that about my books. So shines a good book in a weary world. And I think a lot of writers want that. But heaven forbid if we sit down and start to write a good message or a deeper themed book, because it will not work and it will never shine. But through a character and what happens in a story, that deeper theme can twinkle through all the fun. And we definitely are having a lot of fun with my Prancing Dancing Lily here. I mean, you just look at her and you smile. But there are also these lessons. One lesson is it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to follow your dreams, no matter what those cows in the herd are saying. Look how disgusted they are. And another lesson is perseverance. And Lily searches the world. And even though she might look silly, she never gives up. So I always start with my character. And that character, I follow their lead through the story. And if I stay true to her or him, then somehow, Mira, the deeper meanings emerge. But to get to them, I think we writers have to dig ourselves deeper and deeper, and that can be frightening because, of course, our characters, we are reflected in our characters. So we're kind of digging deeper into ourselves. But we have to dig deeper. So as we know our characters better, the deeper themes emerge. The deeper meaning in Lily, it came from, I think, who she is. So she's spunky and she doesn't give up. So naturally she's going to persevere. And you mentioned the community and how that is important to Lily. That's one of the themes. And actually, I think that's because family is so important to me that that family community theme keeps rising up in my stories. And so, of course, Lily is going to keep in touch with her herd through the emails and the postcards. And she would never abandon her herd. So in the end, she does come back to share the new way of leading the conga line, the line, which is as a conga cow. So it's through the characters, I think, that I I find that meaning. I wanted to share also that Lily sadly went out of print earlier this year, but being Lily, she will rise again. She will dance again. And I have an app developer, RippleFix, and the new Lily will be released in October. And so she's going to be dancing across the pages of an iPad and beyond. So I'm excited about that.
So, can you tell us a little about your writing process? For example, in your book, The Bravest of Us All, how did you get the idea and then what did you do from there? Will you hold it up and show us?
Here's the bravest of us all, Mira. And actually, I grew up on a farm in Kansas. And so I think that in all of our books, even though it might be happening to a hippo in Africa, there's part of us in whatever we are writing. So this is, you can really tell that there's a part of me in this book. I grew up on the farm in Kansas. My father there were 8 in his family. There are 7 in this family. And the scribble on the scrap of paper, I have lots of scribbles on scraps of paper, and the scribble on the scrap of paper was storm cellar, just 2 words. And so I just knew I wanted to write a story to remember my grandmother's wonderful storm cellar that they used to escape tornadoes, but I just played around. It's about 2 sisters, Velma Jean, who is the bravest of us all, and Ruby Jane, who is afraid of most everything. And when we get into the book, we realize that Velma Jean, who's the bravest, has one thing she's afraid of. And Ruby Jane, who is the one who's afraid, we realize has the courage to help Velma Jean when the tornado comes. And so we are learning that there are different types of courage, and we are learning that everyone can be brave when they need to be. So that was kind of my process for the bravest of us all. But even meandering through that process, Mary, you can probably tell that what my process is I feel like I'm pulling on a pair of galoshes and kind of wandering through a muddy swamp for a month or 2, and then I realize that I have to backtrack. So I meander a lot during my process. I'm not a person who outlines and then goes for it. I will share a little bit, if you'd like, about my messy process, if you will, for the latest story I'm working on. And Monday I decided it was time to get serious about a story that's been in my mind for over 6 months. I had the title because I almost always begin with the title. It's kind of like my lighthouse, my guide. And so I searched through my Word documents for the title. I searched and I searched. There was not one word. I was sure that I had several drafts of this story, but there was nothing. So except in my head. And because I've been traveling the past month, most of that lovely story was so far back in my head that I could not retrieve it. So these are my words of wisdom to all of you writers out there. Remember that we are writers, and don't keep those ideas in your head. Write them down. I always begin with my characters, Mira. So I begin with a cow who loves to dance in Prancing Dancing Lily, a little cottontail who misses his grandfather and hugs on the wind, those 2 sisters in The Bravest of Us All, and the little kitten in Heart of a Tiger. So I begin with the characters, but there's a plot that lies within each of those characters because they each have a problem. And so the characters and the plot are intertwined. So, for example, Prancing Dancing Lily, she loves to dance. Cows don't dance, so obviously she doesn't fit in with her herd. That's the problem, and and that problem is going to lead me through the story. In Hugs on the Wind, for example, a grandfather has gone far across the great green meadow. What's the problem? It's very simple. Little Cottontail misses his grandfather. So what is he going to do? And that small kitten in Heart of a Tiger, well, there's only 1 week left before naming day, a very, very important day. And little Four is going to have to live with the name he doesn't want for the rest of his life, or he will have to have the courage to go into the deep, dark jungle and become worthy of a tiger's name. So that's an important choice, and that's what begins the story. And even in Roar of a Snore, which seems like a very, very simple, fun, rhyming story, a cumulative rhyming story, there is that theme that is about inclusion, when they include the kitten at the end in their family. So my guide is always my character, and then with the characters and their problem, the plot intertwines.
Fabulous. Well, you answered that really nicely. When I spoke with you a while ago, you shared a wonderful animal story with me that had environmental themes. We spoke about the importance of the natural world and how you wanted to do more of this kind of work. If you're up for it, will you share about the ways that you've done this and the kinds of things you hope to do in the future?
Well, Mira, I have always felt more comfortable around animals than I do people, actually. So yes, I'm passionate not only about domesticated animals, but wildlife and nature, and I would like to do more on environmental themes. Some people have said that it's like our world today is like Nintendo versus nature, and sadly it's true. Some children actually seem to prefer robots above animals, and I think that one of the most important things we can do as being on this planet is to understand the animals and the plants that we share it with. And so many people know so little about that. Besides my author's blog, which is storymagician.com, I actually have another blog. It's called Earth Voices. It's EARTHS voices.com. And there I've written about black-footed ferrets, which many people don't know what that is, one of the rarest animals in North America. And I've written about my experiences in the high Sierras with artists in the backcountry. And I would like to write more about environmental themes there. I've written very little there. And I would hope then that would inspire me to go on with the stories. You know, so many of my stories really do have that nature theme in them, or nature is in the background because I am just so passionate about it. It just shows up. So in the future, I think I'd like to I have a number of ideas where I'd like to focus on animals and fun rhyming patterns, but also just to show wildlife in a respectful manner.
Marsha, this has been an absolute pleasure. Really, it's just been a huge,
for me as well.
A huge treat, and I'm sure everyone watching this is also very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mira. Good writing to you.
Good writing to you too.
To you all.